Hello, welcome to episode 470 of the Freak. I'm the Project Andrew Ferguson. You can find me on Twitter at AndrewRLP. And joining me as always is the glorious LeagueFreak. You can also find on Twitter at LeagueFreak. How you going there, mate?
I'm going very well, Andrew. How are you today?
I'm fine. I just had a mild stroke through the intro, but I'm good now.
Yeah, well, you know, it happens.
It happens. We'll be fine. You'll be fine. Yeah. It's only the heart. They've got others out there.
Well, stroke happens in your brain, but anyway. Well, it can happen in other places, I guess. Depends where you're having your stroke. But anyway.
It's a gooey pink thing. I'm sure they're all interchangeable. It'll be fine.
No comment.
How you been?
I've been great. How about you?
Yeah, I've been working my ass off.
Ah, man. Life gets in the way sometimes, hey?
It does. Stupid thing. Why can't life understand that there's two things that I have to do that's really important other than parenting? That's if the missus is listening. And that's Rugby League Project and the podcast.
Exactly.
What do I have to go and pay bills for? Surely we're famous enough now that we don't need to pay bills.
Well, I think we're at least famous enough to start tax evasion, you know?
Surely.
So bills is like the next step, isn't it? I just follow the Wesley Snipes fame index.
Hey, that's a tried and true method.
Yeah.
Been a big week in footy, apparently.
Yeah, there's been a lot happening.
I didn't get to see much of what happened on the field.
I got to see a lot. I got to see some very good performances, some very bad performances, and then there was a lot of off-field stuff as well. And it all seemed to start in the Panthers versus South Sydney game, where the Panthers looked fantastic once again. They really put it to South Sydney in that game. But then at halftime, walking off the field, we had a 15-year-old yell out something that was racist to Latrell Mitchell. Yeah. And the discourse around that, I feel as though has been varied in its quality, because when this teenager yelled whatever they yelled at Latrell Mitchell, they ran off because they were called out on it immediately and they were kicked out of the stadium. And it seems to me that that's the tolerance level that rugby league should have for something like this, you know, zero tolerance. If you're going to start yelling stuff like that at anyone at a footy game, go away. We don't want you at a football game.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of the discourse around it has been, I don't know, some of it's been attention seeking and some of it's been misguided. A lot of it has been very well meaning. I do have to say that, but I don't know. I just saw the whole instance as rugby league had a zero tolerance stance on this, and it was great that person was kicked out of the stadium immediately, because, you know, nobody from any background should have to put up with that bullshit at a rugby league game. And so, yeah, it was, but then you got a lot of toxic discussion around it as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm a bit frustrated about this. As we know, I'm not a fan of what the way the mainstream media runs when it comes to commentating on on the field matters with rugby league. And I think if we cast our minds back, was it 2 years ago when Latrell was in the process of leaving the Roosters for South?
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like a month where his character was being assassinated by a bunch of absolutely stupid bullshit. Most of it coming from James Hooper. Remember, there was he's turned his back on his roots and he's driving around in $350,000 Mercedes. Then found out that it wasn't his car.
Yeah, and it wasn't $350,000 either.
Yeah, and then when the bushfires of 2019-2020 were destroying the country, Latrell was at his property, which is, in the country, not in the city. He's up there, and he was helping put out some of those fires. Because, that's what you do out there. It's not about trying to, self-glorifying, any of that sort of shit. You're looking after your property, and you're looking after the people's properties around you, because if you don't, no one else will. That's pretty much it. So he's out there doing that, and Mr. Hooper doesn't come out and give him praise for that. There's no retractions for the shit he wrote about the fucking Mercedes, the fact he turned his back, none of that. No retraction from any of that. But what it did is it created a narrative that Latrell's an asshole. And idiots, they're the only ones who will eat this up. Idiots will buy that, and they'll swallow that hook, line, and sinker. And they're the fucking idiots that go around and say all this racist shit because they think it's okay because the media has told them some sort of, in their mind, quotation marks, truth, and they haven't.
Yeah.
All they've done is destroyed his reputation, and for what? Clicks.
Yeah, when you get various media organisations that are engaging in character assassination of somebody, and on a very regular basis and very widespread across the corporate media, shock horror, that person is going to have a perception amongst a certain section of the public where it's not good. And it doesn't matter if all of it's lies or whatever. Like, the corporate media doesn't care. They'll lie their ass off about everything. And as you say, there's never an apology over things they get wrong. And so, yeah, you get these situations where, people don't like certain players in the game or certain coaches or whoever. And it's just, the signals that are put out there by the corporate media don't line up with the reality of the person that they've been going on about non-stop. And, yeah, people pick up on it. We've talked about this in the podcast so much. Like, you will see people on Twitter, and I know Twitter's the worst fucking guidance reference for anything on planet Earth at the moment, but...
That's why we're on there.
Yeah, exactly. But you'll see people who'll bag the mainstream media about, like, stories and stuff, and then they will quote the mainstream media's opinion on something that is wrong. And it's like, you can't say that the mainstream media is, engaging in poor practices and then just completely follow the beat of their drum.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does. It they create circumstances around certain players where they're hated for whatever reason. And it's like, it's like Daly Cherry Evans was one of them. They did it around for a very long time.
Robbie Farah.
Yeah, Robbie Farah. Although Farah had some things that you could point to where it was like, this seems weird, that seems weird,
Weird, yes, but not hateful.
Well, he's never done anything hateful. A lot of these players don't do hateful things. And I mean a lot of them. I'm not saying all of them.
And that's exactly right. And that's the thing, is that because they don't do, if they speak up about something, and you find this is a common thing, and we had it with Adam Goods in the AFL, as well as in the 90s, Nicky Winmar, when they spoke up in the AFL world, because it seems to have been a more deep-rooted issue within AFL, this racist attitude towards Indigenous people. When they speak up about it, they get targeted harder. And I just think, surely, it's 2023. Surely we can be a bit more fucking mature and grown up about this shit now. But when I went to school, everyone was white and Catholic. My daughter goes to school, and there's very few white and Catholic people there. It's a magnificent mix of people from all over the world and all different cultures, and she just sees them all as other humans. And how come we've still got teenagers in Sydney, which has it's got to be one of the, if it's not Melbourne, it's Sydney. It's got the most amazing multicultural bloody melting pot things. That sort of language they use, of different cultures and races and religions and everything like that. And You don't see wars going on in suburbs and stuff like that. Sure, there might be some communities that don't like one another because of what happened in the past, but it's nothing that gets out of control and goes fucking crazy. People are usually all pretty balanced and calm and passive about it all, and yet we still get teenagers turning up to games being fucking dumb cunts, abusing people, and being racist towards them.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I mean, I've talked about, I grew up in Tregear, which was, like, when I think about, you know, and we used to call it multiculturalism. I don't know what they call it anymore, you know, because terms change, but it was just normal. You know, my friends were Samoans and Tongans and Fijians and Aboriginals, and they were just from everywhere. I just thought it was normal. I thought that's how everyone was. And so I just don't understand it. And, you know, the other thing I don't understand is going to a football game and not being able to control your emotions. And I don't mean like cheering on your team and, you know, being like, the other team, you know, they made a mistake and all that. You know, all that stuff's cool. But I don't understand people that are at football games swearing their heads off or fighting. Like when I went to that World Club Challenge game a few weeks ago and there were people fighting in the stands after the game, and I'm like, the fuck is wrong with these people? It's a football game, you know, what the fuck? It just made no sense to me. I've never understood people that go to footy games and just, I don't know, it's like they can't control themselves, but I'm guessing it's people that can't control themselves in, you know, regular society anyway. It's very weird. And I think the fact that in this instance, we saw the game basically, and the people that you know, run the game day experience at Penrith Footy Stadium, whether you say they're the officials or, you know, the security or whoever you want to say did it, they found this person and said, get out of here. We don't want you here. And for me, I sort of looked at that and said, well, that's the game working. That's what we want.
Yeah.
And I think that some of that has been lost in the conversation around what happened. And look, it's terrible. Latrell said anybody shouldn't be going to a footy game and having that shit said to them in any capacity. Like, we're there to watch a game of rugby league. And as much as you could hate the opposition, like if I think of the most hated opposition I've ever had in my entire life, it wasn't about that sort of thing. It was like, I want to beat them in the football game. Like, yeah. And if you don't win, it's not the end of the world either. And if you can't control yourself, fuck off.
Yes, to quote a English comedian, David Mitchell, the football is going on forever. So you know what? Just relax, people. For fuck's sake, there's next year. And take it from a bloke who follows a team that hasn't played finals football for 11 years. There's always another year.
I mean, if anyone knows misery.
Exactly.
I've never understood that thing of like completely losing it. Or I think sometimes it's an excuse to lose your self-control over a football game. I've never understood it because I've been disappointed. I've been angry at results and stuff like that, but I've never lashed out and taken it out on others, or I just don't understand it. I really don't.
Look, if you need an outlet, take it out using stats. That's what I do.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, it's passive aggressive, it's sassy, but it gets the job done. That's what you want. That's how you got to do it, people. Trust me. It works. It's good. And plus you come across looking educated. I mean, that's a win-win, except for the result on the field. But you know.
Yeah. You know, the other thing I've never understood, and I don't know if I'm different in this, but when my team loses, I focus on my team. I don't tend to focus on the opposition.
Yeah.
Like, it's, you know, I guess it probably does happen where I've been like, oh, they did this, or whatever. But for the most part, I think about what my team could have done better and how they could have handled the situation better. So, I don't know. I just don't understand that whole thing of like attacking the opposition, properly attacking the opposition. It's a weird thing to me.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. Now, look, while we're on the in the chat of attack,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll talk about how stupid it is, but let's really go to town on the West Tigers, shall we?
Well,
Because
we don't do that very often.
I figure we should just do this first and get it out of the way and have a bit of a purge just for this week.
Okay.
Until I need to do it again next week.
Okay. Well, I guess, can I start off?
Please.
I watched the West Tigers play on the weekend.
You have my commiserations.
And it was, there's no improvement. They do have more talent in the side, but it's not exactly giant leaps in talent. But I just don't see any improvement. And when I watched them, it felt like what we have talked about, which is you can't completely bottom out and think that you're going to just turn it around really quickly by buying players from elsewhere. And, some of the same problems exist. I think it's just overall, it's just a really poorly run club. And the weird thing for me in all of it, like you can talk about Tim Sheens, you can talk about, the front office and all that, but this complete commitment and this steadfast, we will not change this around Luke Brooks, I find very, very strange. And then the other thing that came out of that game was the Jackson Hastings thing where, look, Jackson Hastings is weird because he was at the Roosters and and he was, for a while, he was one of those juniors where people like, you watch Jackson Hastings, right? He's a good young player coming through. He's at the Roosters. They chose to move on from him pretty quickly. And that was a big decision by them, because he was supposed to be the next halfback for the Roosters. And then he goes to Manly and there's some off-field stuff there. And it wasn't anything sinister, but it seemed as though there was just a little bit of disruption in whatever way you want to look at it. And the Manly Seagulls said, look, you're probably better off leaving. And so we left, went over to England, I think he went to Salford, was there for a little bit, did very well there. Then he went to Wigan, did pretty well there as well. And then he's come back to the West Tigers. And for whatever reason, there was just something going on there. I don't know what it was. He's left the West Tigers very quickly. He's gone up to Newcastle. And it just feels as, some players, they've just got drama around them. And sometimes it is them and sometimes it isn't them. For whatever reason, he's got a little touch of that drama around him. And we saw it after the game. And I just thought it was weird how it all played out. And he seemed pretty... It was funny when he was talking. I don't know if you saw the post-match thing.
No, I did.
Said, in the post-match thing where he's like, look, it's not for me to talk about this in the media. And it's like, hey, Jackson, you got a microphone in front of you, son. You're talking to media,
and
mate.
your mouth's moving with voice coming out of it.
Yeah. And he's there and he's going, I've never played for... The coaching staff here at Newcastle is fantastic. I want to just shout out, Adam O'Brien and all the coaching staff. They've been so good for me this year. It's been a fresh change. It's been amazing. And it's like, Jackson, do you know what you're doing? And I don't know, there was something about that,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying,
the thing is, though, at the end of the day, the incident itself was an accident that caused this, on the field.
Yeah.
There was very little in it. It was an accident. I think, though, it did give the Tigers player a bloodied nose or something like that. But
broke his nose, yeah.
Oh, they broke his nose. Well, but yeah, it was a genuine accident. I don't think I've ever seen anything from Jackson Hastings at any time in his career that suggests that he's a dirty player or a grub or anything like that. He's never been that sort of player. But yeah, the drama thing, you're right. That's always been there.
And when he was say, if someone breaks your nose and they come up to you and say, I'm sorry I broke your nose, you're within your rights to say, hey, how about fuck you?
Yeah.
So exactly. I had no problems with that either.
No, there was nothing wrong with it. I got no drama what went on. I just made a joke about it, that's all.
Yeah.
Because I saw the footage being replayed by Fox Sports on Twitter, and I just replied to it and saying, "Did the Tigers get a post-contact meter for that?" They could do with it.
The thing I did have a problem was with Nathan Clemmer flapping his gums. Yeah, it's like, shut up.
It was good to see him though fire up. It's a shame it didn't happen in the 80 minutes before that incident.
Exactly.
But yes, that is an aside. I've got to ask you something. And this is based on all of the media that we had coming out of the Tigers in the off-season.
Mm-hmm.
How well do you think this current Tiger side stacks up against its prototype that it's being copied from, which is the 2005 side?
Well, I think it lines up really well against. If anything, I think they're better than the 2005 side, and I'll tell you why. Because most of those players are in their 40s and 50s now.
This is true. This is true. I don't think any of those players from 2005 are still playing if you actually look into it.
No.
Except Daniel Fitzhenry probably is somewhere.
He's still be playing somewhere.
He's still got 20 years left in those legs.
Oh, shit. But, yeah, it's... I look at their team and I'm just... And the thing that gets me is the errors. Like, Oliver Gildart must look at it and say, yeah, that's how I was playing last year. Just dropping the ball every fucking set.
Look, I know I said it in the off-season. I said, the game has changed since Tim Sheens was last a coach here. Okay? And the way it's changed is the only way you're successful is if you work off the back of good defence. Look at the best five teams in the last 10 years. It's been, Penrith, Melbourne, South, Roosters, and probably the Sharks, I guess. And the Cowboys are now becoming one of those teams. Mm-hmm. All off the back of very strong, consistently solid defence. They're not going out there completely destroying teams every fucking week. They're not going out there winning games 40-38. There's grinding teams down, and they're putting them away. And they might be running away with the game in the final end, but that's only through their defence destroying the opposition and creating that opportunity later on. And it's something that Tim Sheens has never understood as a concept is defence. Never. Not once. Not even when he had the Raiders at their absolute best did he have a team that was designed around strong defence. With the Raiders, he had a team that was out of this world fucking good.
Yeah. One of the best ever.
Yeah, like you can't lose. In fact, it's actually an indictment on his career that he only got 2 premierships with that fucking side.
Yeah, so it is strange, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is strange.
And then he only made the finals 3 times after the 1994 season. I think that's when he left the Raiders.
Was he there in 94?
He might have been there in 95. But it's a rather atrocious record. And I don't see why people are sitting there pining over him being some great coach when the only time he's been able to win premierships is when he's had out of this world fucking once in a generation superstars in the teams he's had. And if that's the case, anyone can coach that team to a premiership. He didn't create that team and build it up and make them those superstars. They were that raw fucking talent. I mean, you put any person in 1994 in front of a team that's got Brett Mullins, Noah Nadruku, Ken Nagus, Ruben Wiki, Laurie Daly, Ricky Stewart, Mal Meninga, David Ferner, Steve Walters,
Jared Croker.
I mean, fucking hell.
Fucking Brett. What was it? Brett Hetherington off the bench. Like,
the fact that I can still remember half the fucking run on side.
Yeah.
Shows you how strong that team was. Anyone who's done any coaching at any time in their career could have got that Raiders team to a grand final. Tim Sheens is not the fucking master coach people think he is. We're seeing it now. We saw it for the majority of his time at the West Tigers. He was there in 2003. He finished in 2012. 10 seasons. He made the finals 3 times. How is he a super coach? He's not. And he comes back and
Marshall in the side.
Yeah. A fucking once in a generation bloody superstar.
The thing that gets me is that he come in last year to do a review of the club, said, you need to sack the current coach.
Which you called out was going to happen straight away.
Yep. You need to sack the current coach, and the best person for the job, guess who it is? You are so lucky because it's me, right? And so he puts himself...
What are the chances? What are the chances?
Right?
You just walked into this bloke and he's just standing there in front of you.
Just the odds are infinitesimal, even if that's a word, right? But he gives himself the job, and then he goes on a big spending spree, brings all of these players in from all over the place. They pick up a few players, player swaps, stuff like that, and they start like this. And it's like, well, Tim, is this your plan? Because if it's not your plan, what the fuck is going on?
It's the worst part, okay, is I need to be clear about this too, okay? Luke Brooks is shit, right?
Yes, it's over.
It's over.
It's Sean Johnson over, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely in that area.
Mm.
I'm also going to say this though. It's going to sound like it's in his defence, but it's not. There's no structure around him. I've never seen a football club on the field that has no structure around their halfback. And I can support that by saying the way you get structure around a halfback, it always comes from the play the ball. And you watch the Tigers that play the ball when they're in attack. Coruscant gets the ball, and he doesn't know what to do. It's not because Coruscant's shit. It's because there's no fucking structure in place. So we don't know what we're doing.
He really looks plugged. He looks like he's just been plugged into the side, doesn't he? It doesn't look like have.
He's just doing what Little was doing.
Yeah, it's very strange. And you can see he is doing, as an individual, he's doing what he can. But there's nothing behind him.
Yeah,
it's nothing. Really weird to watch.
And so when he's got no structure around him, his first instinct, as it is for any hooker, is I'll get it to the halfback because the structure's always going to be designed around the halfback.
Mm-hmm.
Brooks gets it, and there's fucking nothing still.
Mm-hmm.
So Brooks is going to do, well, I've got to pull something out of my ass. And the reason why it's like that is because when Sheens was last at the club, he had Robbie Farah that would create shit out of dummy half because he had to, because there was no structure around him.
Mm-hmm.
And the person he dished the ball to, if he couldn't find something to do, was a bloke with the most insane fucking sidestep the world's ever seen.
Yeah, who could probably, how many players have you seen in your lifetime that could do more with no structure than Benji Marshall? Like, there's not many.
Exactly. An absolute freak athlete.
Mm.
There's no other way around it. He's a once in a generation type player. We won't see anyone like him ever again. And if we do, it'll be an absolute bloody miracle.
Mm.
But there was no one like him previously. He was insane.
The thing that gets me too is that a lot of the players he brought in are win now players, or at the very least build something now players. Yeah. And so if they don't build something now, when he hands it over in his grand fucking scheme to Benji Marshall, who is going to turn into a coach, by the way, the fucking ego to be able to just say, I'm going to turn a guy into a coach. And Benji Marshall knows as much about football as anybody ever, right? This isn't a slight on Benji Marshall. So, but the idea that you just are going to create a coach, we've seen time and time again, doesn't work. You're either a coach or you're not. And exactly. I hope Benji's a coach. It'd be fantastic if he is. But not knowing that to say, oh yeah, I'll make him a coach is pretty crazy, But when he does hand that over, Coruscant, Clemmer, players like that, they're going to be getting ready to age out. So what's he going to be leaving?
There'll be nothing there.
Mm.
This is a crazy thing. He's not. The structure that they've got at the moment is not a go forward structure. Like when the first instinct for Coruscant is to run sideways towards his halfback, and the halfback's first option is to have to run sideways because there's no one running a line off him either way.
Mm-hmm.
How have you managed to get one of the best line running props the game had seen for a while in Clemmer. And he wasn't going to make a lot of line breaks, but he always ran straight and hard, which made him hard to bring down. That's all you need from a prop. How have you got that and then one of the best line running edge forwards in Isaiah Papali'i and got them both being completely ineffective in the space of a fucking week? How has he done that? That's atrocious.
Yeah. And on top of that, their discipline is just non-existent in terms of holding the ball. And it's like...
It's because everything they do is a panic play.
Yeah, it really is. And it's like, what were you doing through the whole off-season? If you had a grand plan, you come in and you said, the person to fix the club is me and to coach the club, and I'm going to give myself the job. And then you've got the whole off-season. You bought players, and this is what's happening.
And to top it all off, right, is, as I said before, the whole off-season, the media was happy to peddle all of fucking Sheens' big PR talk about how great the Tigers are going to be in 2005 and all this sort of wank. And they peddled his PR shit because that's what he does. He does PR like nobody else. And they did all of this. They were doing it all last year. They were pushing the whole how great it is to have Tim Sheens back, all sort of stuff, while also driving a narrative that it's time for Madge to go. And today they come out with an article about, poor Madge. There was no support around him going, if you knew there was no support around him now, why didn't you fucking say that last year instead of trying to push him out of the club? And why? Because they wanted Sheens there. Why? Because Sheens will tell them stories. And now they're saying, maybe Sheens isn't the right man for the job. I'm going, I fucking hate how the mainstream media, and it's Paul Kent this time, they do this fucking constantly go around in circles bullshit.
Yeah.
There's no integrity to it.
The other thing is, I don't understand why the West Tigers chairman is...
still employed.
Well, the thing I don't understand is why the West Tigers chairman is being in the media so much. It's not his role. It's not what a chairman of a club is supposed to do. And when you're this bad as a football club, just stop talking. Stop. It's like watching bloody rugby union in Australia, where the entire press for rugby union in Australia is promises that they never keep. It's like, running rugby. We're building something. We're going back to the ground. And it's like, it's all just promises that are just lies and bullshit. But that's all it is, non-stop. It's just constant churning that shit. Just stop talking, West Tigers, and start doing something, because the talk is just making it worse. All the promises are making it worse. All this thing about, we're changing, we're doing this, that, it's making it worse. Like, the way to get people back, the way to get fans back, the way to make fans happy again is to actually change what's happening on the football field. Because West Tigers fans don't give a fuck about anything else. West Tigers fans honestly don't give a fuck about your centre of excellence that you're building. They don't care. If you could have the greatest centre of excellence in the world. If you're losing football games, no one gives a fuck.
That's exactly right. And the great thing is that last week was Member Appreciation Round.
It's. I can't imagine what it's like being a West Tigers fan when it's like over a decade of missing the finals, 2 games in, it looks hopeless again. It's like, what are you supposed to do for the footy season?
The thing that's irritating is, for so long, and look, the listeners will know that I've whinged about this an awful lot, but the stuff that I mention all the time is easy enough to fix if you put the right coaching system and structures in place. Instead of just buying whatever random humans available, you build the squad that works best for what the coach wants. And the club needs to make sure that the coach has the final say in how his roster looks, not the other way around. And the problem with the Tigers is that the blokes running the club in the committee, they think that they're Sir Alex Ferguson. They can control everything and they're fucking awesome because they run a football club. They're clueless fucking idiots. And the sooner they get out of what goes on the field and the roster, the sooner this club can start going about actually improving and moving in the right direction. But while they go around and they do this whole shit where they go and hire this stupid old fuck who's out of touch when he left, and he hasn't changed or adapted the way he coaches to the way the game's played now, he couldn't even be successful in England. And he had that was back when, Salford had a bit of money in the salary cap to build a decent squad, and it was a decent squad they had when he was coaching there. They weren't atrocious, and he went to Hull KR. They weren't atrocious either. They'd just come up. He very nearly sent them back down to championship again. He's proven to be a failure for the best part of the last 11 years as a coach. Why did they let him come back and tell them that he was the solution over a bloke who'd won a premiership in both England and Australia in the last 10 years, something that Sheens has not done?
The other thing that gets me is, for all the talk from certain board members at the Tigers and the CEO of the Tigers, I would like them to come out and say exactly when they are accountable for the losses year on year on year on year. When are they accountable for that? And at what point do they set a standard where they say, if it gets to this point, I will resign for the betterment of the club? Because it's not their role for forever. And this club hasn't been in the finals for a decade in the salary cap era.
The only team that hasn't done it in the decade.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So when are they accountable?
And the answer is
they're not. They're like, we're a decade into this, more than a decade into it, and they're saying, you know what? We've got the answer. Like, why didn't you have the answer fucking 10 years ago?
It's staggering. There's nothing about them at the moment that looks like they're going to improve in a hurry.
No.
If Sheens think that you can just play attacking football to get your way out of this, it's not been effective what he's teaching because their attack is dreadful.
Mm.
And B, their defence is not so bad, and it's largely because Coruscant's there and he's doing a fuck ton of work off the ball in defence to try and make sure their middle isn't being completely destroyed. And he's doing a reasonably good job there. But I'd argue that the reason why you buy a top-of-the-line premiership-winning hooker is not because you want him to help your defence in the middle, and that's it.
Mm.
That's not Coruscant's strength. But he's very good defensively, but he's much better in attack. And at the moment, we're only using 45% of his ability, and it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's so fucking stupid.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But, that it's 10 years of it. 10 years of the same shit. And the people that are going to turn it around are the same people that started it.
Yeah. I think the crazy thing is the fact that it's been nearly every single fan will accept that there's going to come a time as a supporter that your team's just going to go shit for a few seasons.
Mm.
It's bound to happen. You're going to have a period where things are going great and you've got this massive generational situation where you just got this massively awesome squad and they hang around for a few seasons together. But yeah, as you said, the salary cap thing will eventually come out and it'll even it out and they'll start picking the squad apart and spreading the talent around. And that great time will disappear. But it'll bounce back. And history will show that it has happened to every single club. Nearly every single club, they bounce back after a while. Somehow this club has managed to go slightly worse every single year until it got to the bottom and they've gone, I'm sure we can do worse than last year. Let's give it another crack.
It's kind of impressive.
It is. Now, speaking of impressive, I've got a few stats just to lighten the mood a little bit now.
Okay.
These ones are put on Twitter. The Dolphins have done in the last 7 days what the Tigers have done in the last 8 months.
Wow.
That's win 2 games. The Dolphins have done in the last 7 days what the Tigers haven't done since 2018, and that's beaten the Roosters and the Raiders in the same year. And this West Tigers side has now lost their last 4 games at Leichhardt, which is the worst for the West Tigers at the venue. There's only been 4 other times in the history of Balmain West and the West Tigers where there was a losing streak that was worse than that, and each time it was 5 games. They had, going back, Balmain, 1994 to 97, West, 1987 to 92, Balmain in 1973, they got the spoon that year, and West in 53 to 56.
Wow. So they're really, they're setting some bad records.
Yeah. They're fucked.
Yeah, and when I look at the rest of the league this year, and it seems like this looks like a really good year in the NRL so far. They're the one team that you kind of look at and you're like, I don't see. It just seems helpless, you know, and it seems very familiar. We even saw on the weekend the St. George Illawarra Dragons, who they played against the Titans. The Titans come out, started the game very well, and you thought this is going to be a blowout. And then the Titans stopped playing completely. I just crazily just stopped playing. And St. George, to their credit, fought back and won that game and won it pretty well as well. And I'm watching that game and I'm like, this is barely any first graders in this Dragons team. And yet somehow, once again, Anthony Griffin has got more out of this team than they deserve to get out of this team. And at least you can point to that. And then you look at the West Tigers and I'm like, nah, nothing.
The 2 teams that have had a bye already, Manly and the Dragons, so they've only played 1 game. Mm-hmm. They've both already scored more points than the West Tigers have in 2.
That's terrible.
Manly's got 31, Dragons have got 32, Tigers have got 22. Tigers, all this talk about how great their attack's going to be, already after 2 games, worst attack in the comp.
Yeah. But at least their defence is mediocre.
Oh my God. That's just baffling, that is. Yeah, on the Titans, and as much as we've just had an absolute rampage over the West Tigers and how shit they are, I don't think I've seen in the last few years a team that can turn off and completely have all their memory of how rugby league should be played completely wiped from their memories.
Yeah,
like the Titans.
It's really weird, and especially when you look at their lineup and you're like, they have so many like representative stars. They have the best prop in the game in Big Tino. So much experience. Like, I know their outside backs aren't great, but everywhere else they're actually really good for talent, and they can just stop playing dead. It's very weird, and you just got to wonder, like, Justin Holbrook, it's not that he doesn't have the players. I just don't think he can coach, and he gets them. Like, the thing that got me is they stopped playing after 20 minutes when they looked like they were going to score 50. They stopped playing after 20 minutes, and you're thinking, okay, you get them at halftime, and you turn this around. This is fine. And they didn't turn up in the second half either. And it's like, well, what's the coach doing?
I know. I was watching I got to watch most of the first half of that game. And then I missed about 20 minutes, just either side of halftime. Mm-hmm. I want to turn it back on. I've gone, am I watching the highlights of another game from some other time of the year, like last year or something like that? Mm. It looked, the structures and the systems that they were using in that first half, they were simple, effective, and the Dragons were struggling with it. Mm. They couldn't find a way to get through it. They couldn't find a way to keep the attack out. They were just hanging on. And then the second half, it was like the Dragons went, oh, we figured it out. Mm. And the Titans go, hands in the air. Oh, you got us. Okay, you can have the game. You figured us out. And I'm like, the fuck was that?
Yeah, very weird. They just roll over, show you their belly.
And it's Anthony Griffin, as you said, he finds a way to get, good results out of average lineups, whereas Justin Holbrook does the opposite.
Yeah, can you imagine if you switch them as coaches? Like, like if you put Griffin in that coaching role at the Titans, is there any question they don't make? Like they're a finals team.
You get them in the finals.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm watching and it's just a whole. Like Sexton needs to be in the side. He played pretty damn good for a rookie last year. I think you could line him up with Ilias at at South Sydney. Like they both would make mistakes as young halfbacks do. They both learned lessons. You could see Sexton improving as the season went on. He's out of the side completely. Kieran Foran's come into the side, and it's like I wish we had some sort of warning sign about how Kieran Foran plays when he's not at Manly. I wish we'd seen that at a couple of other clubs at some point, and how it can be a giant waste of time and money. And then on top of that, you've got David Fifita, who fucking just lazily takes a couple of $1 million out of the club and says, you know what? I know I played like shit the last couple of seasons, but I'm here now. I'm focused now. And then they get a chance to get out from his fucking contract. And they sign him again. What the fuck is wrong with them?
It's like Stockholm Syndrome.
I know. And they fucking trumpet it like it was a positive. I had a Broncos fan, because I said something about this on Twitter during the week, and I had a Broncos fan say, thank God we didn't sign him. And I was like, yeah, you dodged a bullet. It's really good for the Broncos that they didn't sign David Fifita, because the fucking days after he re-signs with them, he plays like garbage.
Yep.
And it's like, well, you fucking re-signed up for it.
Exactly.
Crazy.
He's a great second rower on $500,000 a year.
And it's like, at this point, it's like you have to play him on the bench, because you can't have his inconsistency in your starting side.
Imagine putting $1 million player on the bench.
Fucking crazy.
I genuinely don't know what you do with him. He's the sort of player who needs a coach constantly on his ass and giving him clear direct order. Well, he would go very well under Trent Robinson, Ivan Cleary, Wayne Bennett,
Bellamy,
Craig Bellamy. Those are the only, and maybe Demetrio. Demetrio seems to get his forwards working pretty well.
Yeah, he does.
But that's what he needs. He needs that guidance in that straight up direction. And I need you to do this, and be hard on his ass the whole time as a forward. He might have been slightly more consistent at Canberra, but he still wouldn't have been worth $1 million a year.
No.
So Canberra also got out of a silly situation there by looking at him.
I agree. And the other thing is too, I think what you need is to say to him, I want you running off this dude's hip, right? And then you go, like, say, and I'll just use him as an example, like Nathan Cleary. I want you hanging off Nathan Cleary's hip the whole time in attack, and then have Nathan Cleary talking to him the whole time. You know, you need something like that happening inside, because I'm watching them, and he's popping up all over the field. And sometimes you like to see that from a player. You like to see the threat across the field. But when a player is directionless, you don't want that, you know?
He feels like right now he'd be a perfect fit for the Tigers.
He'd fit right in. You know, a really good example is Katoa down at Melbourne this year. And he was at the Warriors. And when he broke into first grade, I was like, this kid can break the line. He's a really handy player. And he didn't get the direction from the Warriors. And I'm going to give them a bit of a pass because of what's been going on there in the last couple of years. And they've been just trying to keep afloat in terms of being a football team.
Yeah.
He's gone down there to Melbourne, and they've given him a real specific role. And you saw on the weekend, he was charging through the line a couple of times. And that's what David Fifita needs. He needs that sort of just really straightforward. I'm not going to ask you to do 50,000 different things. I just want you to run this line off of this player, and that's it. And Holbrook, if Holbrook can't work that out, then he's not the right man for the job.
No, I think Holbrook's been telling him, I need you to be this skillful 5'8" second rower type player. And you don't get too many guys who can do that ball playing second row thing.
No.
Like Wade Graham is the last one I can think of that did that reasonably well. And it's because he started out as a 5'8". And that's pretty much the only way you can do it. There are players that are going to have the ball skills that are really, really good. Like Yo at Penrith, for example. Great ball skills close to the line. But if you needed a 5'8", you're not going to lean on Yo to fill a gap there. He's a forward. Whereas, Wade Graham, for example, did start as a 5'8", so you can put him there. You know he's still going to understand how that shit works. But Forfeited never has been there, but it looks like he's been given the job of being an extra 5'8", as well as being a second rower. And the last person I can think of that was given a role like that was Bryce Cartwright. And it was when he was at the Titans. And it killed his fucking career almost.
Yeah. And he's still barely holding on to one,
Yeah. Look, Arthur has at least said to him, stop with the ball playing bullshit and just run forward. And he's starting to get the form back. He's starting to becoming a regular in first grade again. And that's where he should be. That's his job. Another one was Curtis Sirenen.
Yes.
He got dicked around by Tim Sheens at the very start of his career. Same sort of thing. And Sirenen was a bit different because he did come through as a 5'8", but he was built like his old man. He's too big to be a fucking half. Like 6'19" and 120 kilos. Yeah, you're not going to be a half, mate. But you move him to the centres. You get him to work out there so he gets used to working the lines. He can still use his ball playing skills, and that's where you put him until you move him to the forwards. It's the beauty about having the centres there. It's a good halfway point between second row and 5'8". You put him out there for a year or two, and then you move him up. That's what they could have done there. But with Fafita, they seem to think that he's going to be some sort of like the second coming of Arthur Beetson or something like that. You know what? You're never going to recreate Beetson. The closest we probably ever got was Andrew Fafita at his absolute best, and he didn't do it for very long, and he still didn't have the same ball skills that Beetson had. Beetson was a fucking freak. You go and watch the way he played the game. You even watch any highlights of Beetson playing football now, and he looked like they just took someone from 1989 and put him in a bloody game in 1960. You know, what the fuck is this bloke doing?
Yeah, and like at the time, you read about it, and it's like at the time they were like, what is this? What's going on here?
Yeah, to the point where coaches were confused what to do with him. Like, he's a big bloke. He destroys teams when he runs through them, but he's got these beautiful ball handling skills. And he knows how to, things that he did, which players do all the time now. Like, Paul Gallen did this one thing that Beach used to do all the time, which was you knew when he was going to dish out a ball somewhere because he'd run into the line just before he makes impact with the line. He'd turn his back to the defensive line, and he'd either throw a ball left, right, behind. He could throw it anywhere. Gallen always, when he did that, it was always an offload to the blokes down right behind him, the hooker. That was it. But Beetson would be able to hit guys left, right, further back, and he'd hit him with a perfect pass every time. No one's been able to do that since him. And he still did that while still running backwards, making meters through the defensive line, and still looking for a runner somewhere, either side, left or right. Freak.
Yeah.
He's playing fucking 4D chess. That's what this bloke was. And he did his whole career. No one figured him out even when he retired.
Yeah.
As I said, and we're looking back in the last 10 years at blokes who were only then able to do parts of what Beetson did. The Andrew Fafita had the ball running, being able to run like a back at times across the field and find a link runner somewhere. That's something that Beetson did. But that was the only part of Beetson's game he had. Gallen had the ability to turn his back to the line and keep driving while also looking for a play to offload to. But that was only one part of Beetson's game that Gallen could recreate. No one's been able to recreate everything Beetson did, and yet I get this impression that someone at the Titans thinks that David Fifita can do everything that Beatson did. And I'm here to tell you, no, he can't. He's not even going to get close.
No.
Because Beatson did it every fucking day.
Mm. Yeah,
that's the difference.
And like, they recommitted to it. You know, if you don't know how to use a player, but you recommit to it, and he's if he was actually inconsistent, it would be more consistent than he is. You know, he can be lazy at times. He can,
especially in defence.
Oh, in defence, he can be tragic. You know, you know, there was a guy, I can't remember what game it was, but he was playing out wide in defence, and the opposition centre was just tearing him apart. It was like they loved it, you know.
Was that last year?
I think it was last year, towards the end of the year.
I think last year he played one or two games in the centres because they were trying new stuff out, trying to figure out what the hell to do with him.
I wish I could remember the team he was playing against, because and it wasn't even a star centre, but he was just like, they just cooked him. They absolutely cooked him. And, it's, you know, and they re-signed to it. It's kind
Cowboys.
of crazy. Sorry?
It was the Cowboys.
And who was his opposition centre?
Valentine
Holmes. That's it. That's who it was. It was a good centre. And he fucking kept just killing him.
He'd have just been sitting there with pure pace.
Well, you could just see, it was like, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. Like, and he just killed him. And yeah, I just don't understand why they recommitted to him, because they got out of it. They got through it. It's time to move on.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
It's a classic Gold Coast, isn't it?
It really is. It really, really is. That and getting Kieran Foran. When they signed Kieran Foran, I was like, okay, look, alongside Sexton, you know, a more experienced player. It has all of the alarm bells ringing, but, you know, maybe it'll work out. And then I watch it, I'm like, oh, fuck. It's a fucking Gold Coast move. Fuck.
It is. It's been horrible to watch. A general view of what's happened so far. I know there's been a few games that have been pretty close, and some of the commentators are, you know, they're all barred up over how close some of the games have been, how great they've been. But if we're going to be genuinely honest, quite a lot of the games have had some very, very poor ball handling. They
have, but I put it down a little bit to early season stuff, which is fair enough.
Look, it's possible, but I don't think I've seen the start of the season look this sloppy for a while. Like, I can't remember the last time I saw Melbourne playing this poorly with the ball in hand.
See, with Melbourne, I put it down to the fact that they're a very different team this year. And look, losing Munster is huge, absolutely huge. But I just put it down to, like, they're at a different level to where they've been in recent years because they've lost so much experience, especially up front.
Yeah.
And I think that because they didn't have Munster on the weekend, it took away that, you know, Munster's one of the best, 5 players in the world?
Yeah, like, comfortably.
They're easily in the top 10. I'd say top 5. Take that out of the team, and it's just that drop in quality that they just couldn't overcome, and I think that it really killed them. I think this season looks really, really close. Super, super close. I still think what we saw Penrith do to Souths and Souths comeback, I think that they're two really good teams.
South look so good, man.
South, even in that loss, there were plenty of teams that Penrith would have flogged on the weekend. And South's come back a little bit. And Penrith do have that tendency to, like, beat you and then just sort of coast to the finish line. And South's made that comeback, and that's a really cool contest between those teams. Like, I can't wait until they face off again. That's going to be so much fun. But they, to me, look like two teams that are set. And the Cowboys looked set to me, but on the weekend were really disappointing, and that maybe it's a chance to reset expectations on them. Maybe they'll be better by the end of the year. I think they will be.
They haven't been hugely convincing to start the year, and they really fell off bad after half time in that game on the weekend.
Yeah, that worried me. The Sharks, I know they're missing Hines, but I feel like there's for a top side, I feel like there's a low ceiling for them. I feel like that they're going to be, their ceiling is week 2 of the finals still. I just don't see that extra for them.
Most likely that will be the case. The problem they've got is so much of what they do is legitimately structured around what Hines is going to do on the field.
Yeah.
And because he's one of those few halves that will play both sides of the field, it's very hard for Braden Trindle, who is good enough to be a regular NRL halfback.
Yeah.
But it's hard for him to replicate that. It's going to be hard for nearly any other halfback to replicate what he does.
He's a very different player. Very, very different.
You can tell he's been at the Storm because he does the popping up on both sides is something that Jerome Hughes does. And it's something that Cooper Cronk used to do. But the difference between Cronk, Hughes, and Hines is that Cronk didn't have any, freakish flair.
Mm.
What he was a fucking machine. It's like everything was going through. He's like Rain Man playing football. He read everything that was going on, and he just pressed the right button, and he made the right decision so fucking often. He didn't have to have flair. He's just methodical, relentlessly methodical about everything he did. Whereas Hines and Hughes, they are very much eyes up football players. They look at what's in front of them. If they see an opportunity that's just opened up, within a second they go, "I'm fucking through that."
Mm-hmm.
And they are not afraid to change a plan if they think there's an opportunity that's come up. Cleary does the same thing.
Yeah, Cleary's very good at it.
You'll see Cleary sort of, he can see that the play is set up for spread the ball out wide somewhere. And he'll look up just as he's about to send the ball out, just to have a quick peek to see if that's what the right play is. And you'll go, fuck, there's a gap there. I'm on it.
I tell you what, against Souths, they play Jerome Luai more in field. And you could see he was doing that as well. And look, they've got to stick with that because sticking him out on the edge is just not work. It doesn't work, And
it's not going to work when he doesn't have Kickow out there to help him out.
Yeah.
It just won't. He's going to be isolated a lot because, like, Garner's a good player and he's got very good lateral movement, but he's not fucking Kickow.
No. And we know Luai, they've been using 20% of his ability because we saw at the World Cup he is an all-round playmaker on both sides of the field with a great kicking game. And you saw it in that game against South. He was doing everything. That kick he did where he got through the line and he was tackled and he was doing the splits and still put in a great kick, that's his ability. The ceiling for him is extremely high. But if you don't use him the right way, you're not going to get the most out of him. And it was nice to see him move more in field. And him and Cleary, it was just seamless the way that they were working off of each other. It's not like it messes up anything else. So it was good to see that change that they made and the adjustment they made. And to do it against Souths was fantastic because, Souths are one of the top sides. Watching that game, I actually thought more of Penrith and South Sydney this season somehow. It was fantastic to see. And, I think Latrell Mitchell, he was obviously carrying a little bit of an injury. So he's going to be better going forward from that game. But, yeah, those two teams, they put on a hell of a contest, and it was really cool to see how both teams performed. I love watching South Sydney play. Hey, I just love the way Walker works, and Elias he took a step, and it's like seeing a young dude being thrown into the deep end, and you're like, he gets criticism and he makes mistakes, and then you see the little things he picks up and he gets things, and I love that. I love watching that with a young dude, and he's going to be so good. It's so exciting. It's so bloody exciting to see that.
It's been because the thing is, we saw bits and pieces of it last year, and he's been consistent with it and didn't know where he fit in the side because he's got these test players and superstars around him in the spine in Latrell Mitchell, Damien Cook, Cody Walker. Any young guy's going to come into that spine and be a bit daunted by all those fucking superstars. And so he was trying to find his place and wasn't too sure if he's allowed to, speak over the top or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And it seems in the off-season they've just gone, Lachlan, either fucking talk up or fuck off. And he's out there directing traffic and he's just full of fucking confidence. And, man, he's taken over running the team from that halfback role there. It's improved Cody Walker's form. Because all that pressure's off Walker now. He just does what he's good at, and that's taken on the line. Mm-hmm. And they look threatening. And Cook is running more direct, which is helping a lot too. I think when Cook feels that there's not enough variation coming out of the halfback, he feels he's got to take that duty on to take, to try and provide that spark. And that's when he gets sideways and nothing happens from him. Yeah. And when the halves are doing all the work and they're doing good work, he just runs straight, and the forwards they've all been told, I don't want side steps. I don't want you running angles. I just want you running as forward, as fast as you can, and as far as you can. And I don't want you to stop running. I want your legs to keep moving even when they're not on the ground. Mm-hmm. Keep moving. Just keep them going. I don't care. Keep fucking moving your legs. And that's what they do. All of them. Doesn't matter what their name is. Boom. And with Cook going straight and them running direct off him, my God, they are tough to stop.
They really are. I think Ilias got a lot out of the World Cup when he's leading Greece around. And I think we see it sometimes when a player goes over to Super League and it's very clear that that's their job and they're empowered by that job. And I think Ilias was empowered by being the star of that Greek team, Yeah. It was like, it's definitely me. I've got to do this. I'm the professional in this side. And I think that he probably got a lot out of that. And you can see it. And you could see it in him this year. He's much more he's taken on that role as the team's leader in the playmaking. And I love seeing that sort of stuff. When you see a dude that, and we should be seeing it out of Sexton up at the Gold Coast right now, and we're not, unfortunately. And
he'll leave the club.
Hey,
he'll leave the club. Sexton will.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if, where would be a really good place for him?
I wouldn't be surprised if Canberra take him.
Yeah, Canberra would be good. Although Ricky Stewart tends to kill young halfbacks,
Yeah, I don't know. Something in me just says Whiten's just not going to work as a 5'8". They need to move him back to fullback.
Well, all of the talk about Whiten, and it's weird when you watch the game, it's like, oh, Whiten, and then you watch him and it's like, he'll do a couple of good things early on in a game and then the rest of it is just like he's trying to ruin it, Yeah,
I just think he's been wasted. We know he's a good fullback. That's not up for debate. We know he's a good fullback because he's got that remarkably strong kick return on him. I don't take this as a direct comparison, but when Josh Dugan was in his first few seasons when he was down there at Canberra, no one's tackling him one-on-one. The leg drive on Dugan and that kick return strength that he had on him, White's got the same thing. A strong ball runner, built solidly, built like a fucking centre, but had plenty of pace about him and runs without fear. Dugan always had it when he started there, and then Whiten had it as well. And as soon as you put Whiten at 5'8", you've lost that. Mm-hmm. That's a fucking huge thing to have, and especially when the Raiders have got a team that they like to build around the fact that they've got a big forward pack. Nothing helps the forward pack out more than getting a great kick return. And I think that's been the problem that the Raiders have had is they're kind of starting every set from flat-footed, and it's just hard to get their forwards moving forward and being impactful when they're standing around waiting to do a hit up.
Yeah. So I think of Whitenmore as a centre, a big dude. He's got some footwork. He can, when I look at the Canberra Raiders, I think if they had a 5'8", and they just don't have anyone in the club really that could step into that 5'8" role. But if they had somebody that could step in and be a 5'8" at that club, and then you put Whiten out in the centres, and it doesn't help the fullback position, like you say, and I agree with you. I think that they need more in terms of getting on the front foot when they start their sets from fullback. But I just think that makes Canberra a much more formidable lineup if he was out in the centres and they had a decent 5'8". Now, yeah, that's like, oh yeah, it'd be good if they had a decent 5'8". But that's the way I would be going if I was Ricky Stewart. I'd be looking for a 5'8" for that club.
Yeah. No, I agree on that front there.
Can we talk about something I think is our favourite thing to talk about outside of daylight saving?
It's coming up soon. I'm getting excited.
Are you getting excited or angry?
Yeah. I've been getting around changing all the clocks to go back to normal time. I'm going, the cows are going to be so much happier now. My curtains are going to be so much better.
See what I mean? Peter Volandi's come out with a weirdly timed, I don't even know what you'd call it, like flagging of the prospect of adding 3 new teams to the NRL and making it a 20-team competition. Now, to me, it felt like a smother. It felt like he was trying to smother something, and I wonder if it's because the collective bargaining agreement hasn't been signed off on yet, and they're pretty close, and they'll sort it out. But I wonder if they felt like the Players Association was going to come out with something that was a bit negative. And so he come out with the thing of, well, we're going to add 3 teams, and that's, 30-man squads. That's, $36 million worth of extra jobs that will be there if my plan goes ahead. It felt like a smother. But let's talk about expansion, because we love talking about expansion.
Yes.
3 teams. Where would you put the 3 teams?
Well, there was apparently part of the presser that was leaked to the mainstream media said that one of the teams was going to be the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears. Remember when the Bears were around?
Yeah, so I reckon what we'll see. This is not what I want, but because PVL listens to what the media says, we're going to see the North Sydney Bears will come in, the Central Coast Bears will come in, and there'll be a Perth Bears team come in. They'll all be wearing red and black. And Jason Taylor will coach one of them. Greg Florin will coach the other. Peter Louie will do the other one.
I don't think I could bear that.
See what you did there.
Thank you. The other thing that come out of it was this dumb as fuck idea of having...
Hang on. Was it from Matthew Johns?
It was. How did you know that?
So I heard dumb as fuck an idea together. I went, it's got to be Matthew Johns.
This dumb as fuck idea that you have a Pacifica team. I don't really know what that's all about.
Hang on. So this is a team that's just, like the Dolphins. It's just got to be based somewhere in the Pacific Ocean.
Pacifica. People like saying. I think people like saying Pacifica.
Is this his way of saying that all the people who live on Pacific Islands are all basically the same?
I don't even know. Hey, I don't get it. Like, it's just...
That's not my opinion, by the way. That's what I think Matthew Johns thinks of these of people from other cultures. Oh, you're all the same. Just group you all together. We'll call you Pacifica.
Pacifica. And, of course, this Pacifica team will be based in Cairns. Because why would you have a team that was going to represent any Pacific Islands based in the Pacific Islands? That'd be dumb.
How about we have a team in Tonga, one in Samoa, and one in maybe PNG or Southern New Zealand or the Northern Territory?
But look, I even find it weird when people say, oh, we should have a Pacific Islands representative team based in New Zealand. It's like, what do you mean, a second New Zealand team? Because that's what it is. Like,
yeah, I'd be more inclined in... See, call me stupid, That's a request. But if I think, we're going to have an expansion team, I think we go to places where we haven't had teams before that aren't currently being served by a current NRL team. Mm-hmm. That's what I think expansion is. So
that's so weird of you, hey?
Yeah, I know. So,
it's like you want to expand the game. What's wrong with you?
Oh, look, I'm a bit of a fuddy-duddy. I think the last two expansion teams we had were the Gold Coast, where we'd already had a team before, and we're currently being serviced by the Broncos. Mm-hmm. And I assume that's Redcliffe, but, we'll just call it the.
Yep.
Which has also been served by the Broncos. So we didn't expand anything there. We did nothing. So how's about we do that? I'd like to see a team in Darwin. I think more than anything else, we know that Indigenous people play this game and they're fucking good at it. Give them a team. Mm-hmm. There's enough people in the territory to support a team. If it's okay for 12,000 people in Rozelle to be able to have a team to go and watch a few times every year, then surely the a few hundred thousand people that live in Darwin can have a team.
I think.
I know you're going to talk about the heat and stuff like that, but you know what? We can sort that out.
No, I think that Darwin is definitely on the radar for me, more so than it used to be, say, maybe 7 or 8 years ago. It's definitely on the radar. All right. And I think the heat can be sorted out, as you say. For me, the next one has to be Perth.
Oh, hands down. That's a given.
And then, look, Adelaide needs a team. You can't just have like nearly 2 million people in a city in Australia and decide that you don't need those people, So, but here's the thing. Adelaide needs a team. There's no doubt New Zealand needs a second team, and it's probably overdue. But then that's your 3 teams. But if you want to have a team that's true expansion, that really is a chance to have a representation of the NRL in the Pacific Ocean, we're going to Hawaii, baby. We're going to fucking Honolulu.
I love it when we loop back to episode 1.
Episode 1, after 400x episodes of our podcast, I think anybody that says they're on Honolulu before me is a fucking liar.
Exactly right.
Okay, I was first. I planted my flag in Honolulu first. Okay, what is the diamond crater? What is it called? Crater. No, Copperhead Crater. Anyway, the big fucking crater there, right there in Honolulu, used to be a volcano. Diamond Head Crater.
It's a ready built stadium.
Imagine if they built it into a stadium. But I'm telling you, that's the place.
Bring your own chairs. All I need is just a bit of grass and some posts.
I reckon.
Bring your own lounge chairs.
It would be cool as fuck. There's a decent population there. It'd be the only professional sporting team there. It's 10 hours flight. An evening game in Honolulu is an afternoon match on the east coast of Australia. There's a lot of reasons why I think it would work. Would it cost money? Yeah. NRL's got money. You want to do something big and bold? Do that.
The only problem is they've got American gun laws. Can we change that? Is there any chance we can just get Hawaii can we get Hawaii to annex itself from the US?
The thing about Hawaii though is that it's kind of like Alaska. Like it's it is part of the United States, but it's very different.
Yeah, but I don't think it really wants to be. We'll tell them that narrative anyway. You don't really want to be with them.
Look, I've been there and it's a beautiful place. The temperature is. I want to be a weatherman in Hawaii. I really do, because the temperature today is going to be 27 degrees. Tomorrow it's going to be 27 degrees. Then it's going to hit a low of 26 the following day before hitting 27 again the following day. It's beautiful. And I think you'd get players there. I think it would service the Pacific Ocean if that's what you want to do. It's got an economy there. The flights between the east coast of Australia to Honolulu are not that expensive. People saying, "Oh, it's too expensive." It's like it's not that expensive. And then the thing of like the flight time. It's 10 hours flight. I know because I've sat my butt in a seat and done it. The flight time from Auckland to Perth, I think, is 7 hours. Mm-hmm. So we can do that. It's professional sport.
Yeah. Why not?
I need this, Andrew.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're going that far, surely we can get Toronto involved somewhere.
Well, it's better than fucking Cairns, isn't it? And I'm not shitting on Cairns as a place. I'm just saying, if you want to have a team in the Pacific Islands, put a team in the Pacific Islands.
Well, that's right. It really does come down to, I suppose, if the game was smart, which at the moment being run by PVL, it's not. It would be looking at areas where they've got not just current interest, but future development opportunities as well.
Mm-hmm.
But Melbourne was not it. Okay, they did that because a lot of money came from Melbourne for them to have an NRL team, and the NRL was going, yeah, fair enough, then no worries, we'll take that.
Yeah.
And New Zealand had propped them up for ages. But as we've seen, there's next to no junior development going on down here. The salary cap shit didn't help. That killed off what inroads had been done in that area. But still, that's what, 10 years ago as well, 12 years ago. Hasn't really been any bounce back since then.
No.
Still haven't had any Victorian players come through and join the NRL since then. So we need to go to a place where instead of thinking, right, we need to compete with the AFL, we need to think about where we're going to get continued, player pool. That's why I like the territory. I know there's logistical issues with that, but it's, it can be solved. I think.
Yeah, they're not that bad.
No. I think, though, Perth has to be in there because what we need to look at, and I think you may have mentioned it before, is the time difference.
Mm-hmm.
That's key. We all accept that TV dictates where these teams are going to be. And having a team in a different time zone is fucking gold. That's what Perth gives us. That's what Adelaide and Darwin gives us. That's where we need to be. We don't need a team in North Sydney. We just don't. No more Sydney teams, please. It's fucking done.
Mm.
Why are we still trying to bring the Bears back? Why are we trying to bring back one of the most unsuccessful teams out there in the history of the game?
Their glory days were before the Great Depression.
Yeah, and they lasted 2 years.
Yeah.
Their next glory days were in the 90s where they didn't win a single title.
And that was like the Great Depression.
It's just the next most unsuccessful team after the Norse were the Magpies. Norse had 2 premierships, 21-22. Magpies only had 4 premierships in their existence from 1908 to 1999. If anyone's sitting there hollering for the Magpies or the Bears to come back, it's because they're idiots.
Yeah.
We don't bring back dead teams that have got no successful history behind them. Why would you? We're seeing it now with the West Tigers. They're now being largely run by the Magpies. It shows.
Yeah.
There's a zinger.
Didn't realise you hated the Magpies that much, former main fan. Wow.
I'll just put this out there. These are just stats. Balmain made the finals at least once in every decade from when they started.
The blood feud continues.
It continues.
Why don't you just say you want to break it up and go back to Balmain? Fuck.
Nah, I don't, and the reason being is because it'll bring Benny Elias out. I can't have that.
He'd be suckling that teat immediately.
Yeah. So I've got to apologise. That's the downside to being a Balmain fan. Is it means more Benny Elias exposure, and we don't need that.
I just can't wait for the Mitch Moses era to be back at the West Tigers next year. It's going to be so good.
I know he's still too young.
Get him when he's 29 and he's finished. How old would he be?
32, 33. That's when I'll get him. He'll be in the Haas pairing up with Luke Brooks with
Luke Brooks still.
Oh yeah, he's not going anywhere. Luke Brooks is on contract until he turns 40.
I can't wait until Tim Sheen's still the coach 7 years from now, 8 years from now. Because Benji didn't quite pan out because he got the fuck out of there.
He got sacked by Sheens.
Yeah, he got sacked. He took over and there was a review. He gets sacked by Sheens because Sheens is the right man for the job. Just ask him.
She sacked his protege.
But then the plan is when Luke Brooks retires, when he's 39, he's going to take over as the coach.
That's right. Yeah, that's the plan all along. All this time, Benji thought he was the golden child.
Yeah, it's always Luke Brooks.
You're just the middle child, Benji.
Luke Brooks retires, buys the club with all the money they gave him.
He could.
Fucking.
Hey, Luke Brooks, let's think about this. He's playing the long game here because he goes, you know what? If I drive this team into the ground, the value is going to be very, very low. It's not going to cost much to buy him out. If I maintain this higher salary and stay here and do this whole, I'm loyal to the club gimmick, I'll be able to buy him on 2 years worth of income instead of costing $20 million to buy the club. It's only going to cost me $2 million. And then that's when I'll turn it around. And then I'll sell it for $20 million. And he's sitting back rubbing his hands together going, yeah, I just made $18 million. Only took 2 years.
Isn't it crazy to think that Luke Brooks is a multi-millionaire a number of times over from playing rugby league at the West Tigers, and he's never played a finals match, and they're completely committed to continuing that going forward.
I'm not even mad at Luke Brooks. I can't be.
I know. I fucking keep taking their money. Taking their money.
Exactly right. I'll never get mad at a player for taking the money.
Same with David Forfeited, by the way.
Yeah.
David, you take all that fucking coin the Gold Coast, you just keep taking it.
Yeah, we've made it clear. Forfeited's not the idiot for staying.
No.
The Titans are the idiots for fucking offering that money when they know full well they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Same goes for the Tigers. They know full well they shouldn't be given either Mitch Moses or Luke Brooks $1 million a year, and yet they were offering it.
Yeah, I've never, ever begrudged a player for taking the money because it's free real estate, man.
At the end of the day, an NRL career is fleeting.
Yeah. Unless
it's a decade at best.
Yeah. Well,
unless you're Brooks.
Or like Stanley Jean, where it was a number of decades.
I think he played in Papua New Guinea's first game in 1972.
I wouldn't be shocked.
He's probably still playing up there in the PNG Cup.
I bet he would still be playing well. It'd be like him and Cliffy Lyons and Dale Shearer.
Oh, mate. The thing about Stanley G, man, is I remember watching one of the UK games on TV late one night, and they had it must have been at one of the grounds where they've got to have the microphones for the, on the actual turf. Some of the grounds are really, really small, so the microphone's actually really close to the sideline.
Yeah.
And Stanley G did a hit up on the edge of the ruck. He wasn't trying to break his line. It was like, the player broken down. So he just, off a standing start, just did a hit up. And the pain that he inflicted on the bloke who had to tackle him, you could hear him go, ooh, and he went, fuck man, he ran off 5 steps. I went, that's how you knew Stanley Jean was made of something that wasn't human.
Yeah. He
was tough, man. And every time he tackled someone, he wasn't running in and doing those big hits like Sonny Bill Williams used to do. He'd just get down low and get into he had a good technique. He'd get down low and he'd hit you at the bottom of the ribs. but it looked like he was crushing the souls of humans every time he tackled them.
It's so cool when you have players like that are just timeless, hey?
Oh, he's phenomenal, man. He didn't do anything that was freakish. It wasn't like watching Benji Marshall. I just love watching him doing the most basic of parts of rugby league that everyone does. But for some reason, when he did it, he was killing humans.
It's weird how some players some players
Oh.
just have a really good technique, like Trevor Gilmeister did.
Yeah, Nigel Plum in defence.
Nigel Plum.
Players would avoid him?
What's the player that? And I can't remember his name. I had him in one of my fantasy rugby league teams for years. That played for the West Tigers. He was a halfback.
Oh, Lincoln Withers.
Was it Lincoln Withers?
Yeah, he was a good defender.
Where he was just this halfback that would axe people. He wasn't real good at all the other halfback stuff, but
he was a small looking fella.
Yeah,
and he would often play at hooker as well because he was quite a good defender.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was generally one of those good ones. So you just watch him and go, oh, he's coming in for a tackle. Someone's going to bump him. Oh, how did he do that?
They just stop him, and it's just all technique for whatever reason. It's just all technique. Antonio Kafusi, have you seen the hits he's been putting on this year?
No,
he has been fucking.
Felice Kafusi.
Felice Kafusi.
Antonio
Kafusi. There's an Antonio Kafusi. Who was that?
Yeah, he played years ago.
Yeah. Anyway. Felice Kafusi.
I have seen some of the ones. You know what's been good about him? I remember saying this. Might have been in the preview. Saying that he will be a really good pickup if his discipline is on point and he's not giving away stupid penalties.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, he's not been giving away penalties. He's not been doing grubby shit, and he's just been folding humans.
Just crushing.
Yeah.
Absolutely crushing.
Because he does have that sweet timing when he makes a tackle. Wade Graham's another one.
Yeah, Graham, when he was at his best, he could crush someone. It's Moses Leota can do it too, man. Moses Leota, when he's on, he's just a destroyer. It's weird with Kafusi though, because like a couple of years ago, I think it was, I was like, it's over for him. You know, he's just, I don't know why the Storm are persisting. And then here we are a couple of years later, and he's absolutely folding people in half. It's so cool to see.
Oh yeah.
I love being wrong like that. Like
absolutely.
When you're wrong about something like that, it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that has been good. Did you know, other than in 1908, only 2 teams have won their opening 3 games in their debut season?
Really?
Yeah.
2 teams, the opening games in their debuts. Can I try and guess them?
You can, yes.
Okay.
I'll name the 3 in 1908. Okay, it was Glebe, South, and East.
Okay, I'm going to say, I don't know. I've got no idea about this, so I'm just going to guess. There's a few I want to guess. Brisbane.
Yes.
And part of me wants to say Melbourne Storm.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, there's the Broncos and the Storm.
I was, the other one that I was a little intrigued by was St. George. I wondered if they had, because I knew that they were pretty strong when they come in.
In 21, when their debut year, I think they only had 1 or 2 wins, and it was a very short season too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
see, in my head that they were, maybe I'm thinking like they were just a strong district, and it was obvious they needed to be in.
They were definitely a strong district because they very nearly were one of the pioneering teams in 1908.
Yeah.
The musical chairs that went on in that debut season when they were getting teams set up meant that for some reason they were always Plan B, and Plan B never got activated.
Mm-hmm.
They went to Plan A. They also went to Plan C. They kept skipping Plan B. We're getting into an issue episode here, but anyway. So yeah, they had 8 teams, and so they went, okay, we don't need St. George. And then they added in, they had 6 teams. They went, we don't need St. George. Then they added in Newcastle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, now we're not going to need St. George. So St. George are going to come in then. And then they got Another team. I've got to remember how this all worked. So no, that's right. So they had. Now I figured it. Yeah, so they had 7 teams. Then they got Newcastle across the line to make it 8, and they had St George to be the 9th team because they knew they were looking at a 10th team, which was going to be Cumberland. Mm-hmm. Cumberland were initially going to say, sorry, we're not going to be able to field a team. So they went, okay, St George, we don't need you because you're going to make it an odd number. And then Cumberland went, oh, hang on, we're going to have enough players. And by then the season had already started. So Cumberland came in, they went, don't worry about St George, we'll bring you back next time. And then Newcastle dropped out at the end of the following season, so they were back to an even number. And Cumberland dropped out also at the end of 1908. So they needed a new team for 1910. And Annandale said, we'll come in. And they went, okay, you can come in. And St George has gone, oh, for fuck's sake. So then Annandale dropped out at the end of 1920 when they brought in University. And they've gone, for fuck's sake, you skipped us again. The league's gone, well, all right, we'll have an odd number. We'll bring St George in next year. So St George came in 1921. And then it could be argued that it was from the time that St George got brought in that the machinations were in process to find one of the teams to get rid of so they could get the competition back to an even number. They've always been fascinated with having an even number of teams.
I get why. I get why. It's just economics. It's like when you have an uneven number of teams, it's you're wasting the salary of the team that's sitting out that week, you know.
It's also there's a bunch of fans for a team that aren't attending games for a week.
Yeah. Well, you look at this week, the Panthers have the bye. And I think it's a really good time for the Panthers to have the bye, to be honest. They've got a couple of little injuries. But, you know, it's kind of weird. As a Panthers fan, I was like, I'm ready for the next game. And it's like they're having a week off. I think they all went down to the coast, actually, to have a mini camp, which was an interesting move.
That's the way to do it. Speaking of the bye, there's been a bit of complaining by a few people online about the bye.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we give points for the bye? And that's a fair call because I think we shouldn't because it's stupid.
It is a bit strange. You know what it is? You know what it comes down to? It's people that they don't like seeing other teams being overtake them during the bye round. So they like to see their team just get 3 points during the bye round. That's what it is.
I've got a stupid idea.
Okay, hit me with it.
I mean it. It's stupid.
Okay.
This is by no means serious, and I don't want this to come into play.
Okay.
I'm just being a dickhead, just for the sake of complaining about the bye.
Okay. Okay, go for it.
Okay. At the end of the regular season, you look at, we haven't given anyone bye points at this stage. At the end of the regular season, okay, we look at where everyone's placed on the ladder. If you're first, you get 2 points for having a bye. If you're second, you get 4 points. If you're third, you get 6 points. And so on and so forth until you get down to 17th, gets 34 points for a bye. And I did this purely just for a laugh to see what would happen if I did this to the 2022 ladder.
Yes.
And after I'd done all of that, we had 3 teams on 44 points, and that was Canberra, Brisbane, and the Dragons.
Yeah.
Canberra's the minor premiers. The next 4 teams, so this is 4th to 7th, were on 42 points, and that's Penrith, the Roosters, South, and the 15th place Warriors.
Yes.
And then there was a very large battle for 8th place. The Cowboys, though, got it.
Yeah.
And they were on 40 points.
Please tell me who 9th was.
Melbourne.
But
there was Melbourne, Cronulla, Parramatta, Manly, Newcastle, and the West Tigers were all on 40 points. So that means the Tigers were essentially equal 9th.
Equal 9th.
And then Canterbury and Gold Coast were equal last. But on that, there was only 6 points separating first from last.
Oh, wow.
You look at it, there was 2 points separated 4th from 14th. That battle for 8th place was insane.
Yeah, that would make it crazy.
There you go.
I always try to find whenever we have a golden point game and people decide that for whatever reason we should have 2 points for a win, 0 points for a loss.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you're losing golden point, you get 1 point. And it's I just want to feed those people through a fucking wood chipper.
I had someone. Who was it now? I think it was one of the radio stations was talking about it recently.
Mm.
I'm not talking about some sort of stupid system like that. And I basically went through and said, if we went and changed it to what they said,
Mm-hmm.
and we used the 2022 ladder as a guide, and it wasn't a bad year because there was a fair few Golden Point games last year, it would have meant absolutely no change to the top 13 sides at all.
Yeah.
So why bother?
Yeah.
Like it made their whole argument completely farcical, and they stopped talking about it the minute I told them that.
Yeah, and look, that's fair enough, because if it's pointed out to you that it wouldn't make a difference, it's like, oh, okay, that's fair enough. But
it's not hard to do that research yourself, though. Just go, I'll just have a look and see if this will work. And all you're doing is adding the points that you suggest all along and changing it around and going, oh, it's not going to work. I'll just keep that stupid idea in the fucking back of my head, and I won't make a dick of myself online about it.
Speaking of weird systems, whoever won that preseason challenge where you got points for line breaks and bullshit like that?
Manly?
Did they?
Yeah.
Big celebration about that, huh?
I think they got $1 million.
I thought it was 100,000. There's no way it was $1 million. No way.
Or 100. What are they going to do with $100,000? You're not even going to get rid of the asbestos on one end of the ground with that.
That's a good point. Maybe they could dig up the North Sydney jersey that's been buried under the northeast corner of that.
The ground is sour.
The ground is sour. That's how it said it in the movie. Remember that?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, it's been a fucking good episode, hey?
It has. Long overdue. Sorry for that, people.
Yeah, that was my fault.
And my fault.
No, it wasn't all your fault. It was mostly my fault. It was like 80% my fault, at least.
Let's blame someone else. PVL.
PVL, fucking bastard.
Fuck that guy. Did you want to chat about the games coming up this week or not?
Yeah, let's have a look at them, seeing as Penrith aren't playing.
We'll have a quick gander.
Who gives a fuck?
That's right. Manly Parramatta. Cooper Johns has been dropped and replaced by John Schuster. Yeah. And Parramatta's unchanged. Who do you reckon is going to win that?
You have to go with the Eels, although the Eels definitely have taken a step back this year, and as they're always going to, the Eels at the moment look like a team that's going to finish about sixth place to me. But we'll see if they can improve. But yeah, that definitely the Eels. I think that I know the Seals are on top of the ladder. I don't think that's going to stay.
I'm going Manly.
Are you going Manly?
Yeah, I'm going Manly. Why not?
Okay.
Fuck Moses.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Your hatred for him is almost as much as your hatred for the fucking West's side of the joint venture.
Exactly. He's probably from out that way. No, he's from Benny Elias. That's even worse. The Knights play the Dolphins. The Knights have got a fair few players out. Ponga with another concussion, Brayley with a concussion, Frizzell with an ankle, and Jacobs Saifiti's injured.
Is he injured or is he suspended?
He's suspended. Yeah. Tyson Gamble's going to be at halfback. Oh no, he's going to be at 5'8", next to Jackson Hastings. Lockie Miller at fullback. Quite a few new faces there. The Dolphins have got Jeremy Marshall-King out, which means Nicarima will be hooker. Got to go Dolphins there because the Knights they're dreadful.
Yeah, the Knights look like shit. Dolphins look fantastic considering they've been together for like a few months. The Knights apparently, first of all, Ponga is at that point where he needs to ask questions about his future as in this game. And the Knights were apparently going to the NRL and saying that they might need to have some sort of there was a suggestion that they were going to struggle to put together their team for this week. And when you're doing that in the third week of the season, you're not putting together your squad properly.
That's actually laughable.
Yeah. Yeah.
How have you lost half your squad in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Like, you got a 30-man squad. That's nuts.
They're going back to their working class roots.
Digging the coal miners out of the mines that aren't there.
Yeah, apparently.
All right. Good luck with that. The Roosters and the Rabbitohs on Friday.
I haven't seen the Roosters play this year yet. But the Rabbitohs looked so good last week, even in their loss. I find it hard to tip against them.
Yeah, we're going south on this one. JWH and Radley return for the Roosters. The Bunnies have got a few bench players, I think, coming back, as well as Tavita Totola, so their forwards are going to be back to almost full strength there. Yeah, it's hard to go past South, to be honest.
Yeah, and look, I've seen some of the complaints from Roosters fans about their side. I didn't understand the whole thing about the Roosters being favourites at the start of the year. I thought it was kind of strange. But as I said, I haven't seen them play yet so far this season. So I'll watch this game and I'll get a better gauge on where they are.
Yep. Next is Titans versus Melbourne. Brian Kelly's back for the Titans, which pushes Philip Sami to the wing. Verrills is out, so Chris Randall's going to be at hooker. Who?
Verrills played with a busted collarbone, hey?
Verrills is a very good hooker.
He was playing very well, but when he came off the field, I was like, that's the problem.
Yeah, he is very good. I do rate him. I don't know why the Roosters let him go. I know that they've got Brandon Smith there, but you always need a plan B just in case someone gets injured.
I think that's the problem, that the plan B is always injured.
Yeah. Verrills is good. For the Storm, Olam, Coates, Kamikamitha all return, and Tarek Sims will also be making his debut. Nelson Asfa-Samila is out for nearly 2 months.
What with?
I assume it's an injury.
I didn't see what happened in that game. To be injured.
So they've got a 4 genuine starters all coming into their side, so they're going to be quite a lot stronger this week. I got a stat, and that is Melbourne have lost their last 3 round 3 games.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
But I think they're going to come out of the blocks here and probably put a score on the Titans.
It's weird in my head when I go through the lineups of these two teams, part of me wants to tip the Titans, hey, but then how can you? I can't tip them. I can't.
No, you can't. It's just it's too hard to do that.
Yeah.
Cowboys Warriors. Peter Hickey and Scott Drinkwater are both out for the Cowboys. And for the Warriors, Charles Nickel-Clocksad's out with a concussion, as is Jackson Ford, and they've got a young bloke making his debut at fullback. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys there, and I think they're probably they might run away with this one as well.
Yeah, going up there to North Queensland, you can't go past the Cowboys in that one.
No. Broncos Dragons. Corey Oates is injured. Jesse Arthurs comes in for him. The Dragons are unchanged. Broncos should win, but
yeah,
I don't know.
You got some question marks over them, do you?
I don't know. I was going to say, like, the Broncos should win, but they've got Billy Walters at hooker, and I'm just not sold on him. And then I look across at the Dragons, and they've got Moses and Bide hooker. I'm like, well, they kind of cancel each other out, so the Brisbane should win.
Here's a question. You have to take one to start every game for you. Who do you take, Billy Walters or Moses and Bide?
probably wouldn't buy it because he's less likely to get injured.
I would take Billy Walters every day of the week.
Yeah, I'd look. The only way I could make a decision on that is if you were to blindfold me, spin me around 15 times, and make me point at one.
That's fair enough. I really like the Broncos in this one. I think that they could whip the Dragons. I think that they're playing great footy, and they look like a complete team finally.
No, I'm with you on that one. The Bulldogs versus the West Tigers. This is the first time the West Tigers will have played at Belmore.
Ever?
That's
weird.
The last time a Tigers team was playing at Belmore, Balmain beat the Bulldogs in 1998.
Wow.
The last time a West team went to Belmore, the Magpies got beat by 50 in 1998. Make of that what you will.
Wow, what is it with you and Wests? Far out.
Just stating facts. Spitting facts. Bulldogs are unchanged. The Tigers have got Charlie Staines at fullback. Laurie's out with a knee injury. Tommy Talau's concussed. Stafford Toa will be in the centres for him. Sean Bloor returns into the back row. Offengawi goes to the bench. Safe Farthy's out of the 17th. And Papali will miss the game because he's suspended. And Wakeham replaces Simpkin on the bench. This is a classic Sheenius shifting the deck chairs on the sinking ship.
That'll all be really good for their cohesion.
It'll go great.
All they need is like a former Park first grader rugby union player to be making his debut, and that'd be complete.
Well, the other thing is John Bateman's on the extended bench. So you know what?
Well,
he might come in as well. Why not? He might replace Coruscant.
I just need to take a moment. Okay, Bulldogs are going to whip them.
I did post a tweet of a specific stat, which was entirely about the Bulldogs, but it was entirely also focused on this game, and that was the Bulldogs haven't produced a score of 40 plus since 2018.
Oh, that's under risk. That's
one of those ominous tweets.
It feels like kick out 2 tries, hey.
I think Kikau, Avarillo, Addo Carr should probably get 5 or 6.
Yeah, Addo Carr.
Kyle Flanagan will probably get 3 tries and 19 goals or something like that. It's one of those games.
Somehow hate him.
That's right. And the last game is Canberra versus the Sharks, and the Sharks have got an atrocious recent record against the Raiders. I think the Raiders have won their last 8 games against the Sharks.
I think this is the hardest one of the round.
And the Raiders are largely unchanged, and for the Sharks, they're largely unchanged as well. Jack Williams comes on to replace Connor Tracy on the bench. Wade Graham's out for, 3 more weeks with his suspension.
I think I will go with the Sharks.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go the Sharks in that one.
Yeah.
I think the thing that separates them is the Sharks can score points, whereas the Raiders, I'm less convinced of their attacking ability.
The Raiders get quiet at points in games.
Yeah. Defensively, they're going to be strong to get through. But yeah, I think the Sharks have got a bit more points in them. So there it is. That's the upcoming week of footy.
Just looking at the draw, and then it's got Panthers bye, and it's like, with the woke stuff again? Wow.
Jesus Christ. You know what's going to be tough is when the West Tigers have got the bye.
Was that?
Can you seriously just gift the West Tigers 2 points?
Hey, by the way, did you see that the NRL they said that they won't have a Pride round? They've decided against it, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. It's that weird thing where it's just everyone's going to get angry for whatever reason about those things. And it's like...
That's the respect round.
Yeah. So, look, I don't know if it's the right or wrong decision. All I know is that everything's going to make everyone angry. And so I just want to watch football, man.
I think what they should have done is just go, you know what, fuck it. Let's either dive all in and do Pride round, or we don't have anything at all.
Any rounds? Well, you know what I think.
No, you can have the other ones, but like don't either have a pride round
Yeah.
or don't have one. The respect round, it's a pissy attempt to sit on the fence, and you can't be sitting on the fence. It's just not possible to do anymore.
Yeah.
So you've got to step on one side of the fence or the other. And they should just went either, yep, we're doing it, or no, we're not.
Yeah.
And it would have been easy enough if they just said, yeah, we're going to do it. And everyone gets to wear rainbow jumpers and all the kids get excited. And you just frame it as kids being excited because they like rainbows, not because of any of the LGBTQI stuff. And that's how you would have got around it if they really wanted to. They could have just run that narrative. But now it looks like they're by only putting a toe in the water, as much as they like to think that it's still showing respect to the LGBTQI community, the fact that they're not doing a pride round is the stronger message as far as PR goes. And that's how it's going to be construed. So you're right, it is going to be a round where everyone's going to get angry because they're going to say, why can't they just do a pride round?
What if we just had an everyone gets angry round? Wouldn't that be cool?
There's an idea.
What would like
fucked off round?
Yeah, fucked off.
Everyone's got to go to Leichhardt and watch their team lose.
Yes.
To the Tigers.
It's called the NRL, isn't it? Where you could just have like both the joint ventures, they just get angry about being joint ventures. And then we have everyone has a jersey clash. That would be cool.
On that round, Balmain plays West and St George plays Illawarra.
That would work. Ashley Klein referees every game.
Yep.
What else? Just Ricky Stewart.
Two bunkers.
Just
two
Ricky
bunkers
Stewart.
for every game.
What else could you have?
Actually, you know what? Ricky Stewart is not allowed to get fined for any of his comments in the post-match presser.
He's like, let me tell you about Jamin Salmon when he was 8. And then every single decision goes to the video referee.
Yep.
What else could you have? The touch judges, and they've got to wear those glasses the glasses that you wear when it's like the effect of being drunk.
Yes. You know what? I'd also like to see the return of that camera that the Super League refs had on about 5 or 6 years ago. It looked like they had a jockstrap on their head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's bring that back. You get ref cam.
Phil Gould gets a microphone put in front of his face.
He made some comment about how we should always, respect the educated people and the scientists and stuff like that. And then at the same time, he's talking about how we've gone all soft on brain injuries and things like that. And you're going, pick a lane, Phil.
I know, right?
Fucking Karen's at it again.
I know. It's like when people say, with all due respect, and then they just fucking slag someone. It's just like, shut up, just slag them. Yeah. You're going to slag them.
That's right. It's the old I'm not racist part.
Yeah, it really is. Oh, shit. It really is. What else could you have for Hatered Round? We play all of the games at the Olympic Stadium at weird times.
I was thinking we'd have them all at Leichhardt. That way it's fucking impossible to get there to watch. Have Magic Round as the Angry Round, and it's all at Leichhardt. And all 8 games are on the one day.
Yeah, that would be good.
You just start kick-off at 10 in the morning and have an hour between each game.
Jerome Luai gives a speech like Trent Barrett did that year.
Oh, there's an idea.
Remember that Trent Barrett speech?
No, what was that one?
You don't remember that. It was it was very early when the NRL was formed, and they basically, their budget must have been really tight. So they're like, this year we're not doing advertising or anything. We're going to have the players give a speech, right? So they had Trent Barrett giving the speech. And so he gives a speech before the first game of the season. And they were playing this goofball music behind him while he was giving this speech. It was so dumb. It sounds as cringy as it was. I wish somebody could find the footage of it because it's so stupid.
Is it like the stuff that Matt Nable does?
It was
Like there was one I saw of Matt Nable today, and he's walking, as he always does. He's walking through a hallway or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He says,
"If these walls could talk."
It's a well-known fact that winners don't quit and quitters don't win. No, that's a Nable line. That's a good.
I just want Matt Nable to do all of those things all the time. I love them because they are what they are.
Oh yeah, they're cliche as fuck, but they're great. I love everything about them.
I'd love for it to go.
I'd love Matt Nable to do the intro for this podcast.
It would be great. It's like he starts in like, "Do you smell that? That smells like a new episode of Fergo and the Freak."
He's Andrew Ferguson. How's about this other bloke? They call him LeagueFreak.
Do you love statistics? So do I.
And he's two blokes. They don't quit because they're winners.
Just saying words that don't really mean much about anything. It's like Sundays. Don't we all love Sundays? Yeah, it's like, I guess, you know.
What's better than an ice cream in the park? An ice cream in the park on Sundays.
He's called Wayne Bennett, and he's old.
That's good. I reckon we could do that. I'm here for that.
Yeah. What were we talking about again?
Who knows?
Oh, Hatered Round.
Hatered Round.
Yeah, Hatered Round.
I think what we need to have for Hatered Round 2 is at halftime for the halftime entertainment, the mascots actually have to have a UFC bout, and no one is allowed to go back onto the field until one of them has been murdered.
The first one to go, and I love him, but the bunny, like, he's too cute. He's just, I think it's an old guy that's in the bunny suit too. I just feel like someone's just gonna just take him apart.
They might do, but he's probably the only one that's likely to be carrying a shiv.
Who do you reckon? I feel like the mascot that would end up killing all the other mascots would be a dark horse one, like I don't know, I don't know what the dolphin is, but I feel like the dolphin. I wouldn't want to fuck with the dolphin.
A murderous dolphin.
Yeah. I
remember going to the Storm games when they were at Olympic Park, just before they went to Amy Park, and their Storm man would go around and he'd have a plush toy for the opposition team, and every time he'd do a lap on his little quad bike, and then he'd get the toy and he'd throw it in the air, and then he'd do like wrestling moves on it, flying elbow drops and shit like that. I'm backing that guy.
I tell you that we're lucky we don't have them anymore, right? First of all, Captain Charger for the Gold Coast Chargers, I feel like he would do something super inappropriate to another mascot. I'll leave it at that. But then the one that would be fucked up and would be like, it just would win it all, would be the old Steelers dude. Remember him? I think he would wear a motorcycle helmet from memory.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be the one that would it'd be like, stop, he's killing them.
He'd take his helmet off and he'd just be bashing their head in with the helmet.
Yeah, and not like, oh, he's bashed their head in there unconscious. Like, he's pulping them. What's going on?
Yes, there's nothing there above the shoulders, just a mess.
Yeah.
Just mince.
And he's still going, you know?
That's right. He's actually creating a divot in the ground.
Yeah,
he's still going. He stops only because he's realised that this job's done and there's more to kill.
What was his name? I can't remember his name.
Stanley
Steeler.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Violent man.
He was hardcore.
What's the Reggie? Is it Reggie Rabbit?
Reggie Rabbit.
Yeah, I think it's Reggie Rabbit. Yeah, I feel like he'd be the first to go.
Yeah, I reckon the Titans guy might go.
The Titans?
Yeah.
Just full of cocaine. Allegedly.
He's just all outfit, man.
You just look over, he's doing lines off Reggie's corpse.
Who have the Roosters got? Rooster Man.
Yeah, I don't. Oh yeah, the Rooster. Yeah, I remember the Rooster. Yeah.
The Dragons have got that old bloke, Skull. Is he still around?
Skull?
Yeah, remember that guy?
No.
Old bloke. He was a ball fella. Whenever they show footage of the early 2000s after the Bunnies had been kicked out, and they've got the big march through Sydney of all the rugby league fans.
Yeah.
Skull's always on there, and he's yelling something about, "You're not going to ruin our game, Murdoch," or some shit like that. And he's yelling it to the screen. He's got his big St George Red V jumper on.
Oh, really?
You haven't seen it? I'm sure you have.
No.
If I find it, show it to you, go, "Oh, that guy."
It'll jolt my memory.
Yeah.
I feel like the St George. You know how they've got the St George Dragon, their mascot. I feel like the St George Dragon would just be horrified by everything, because I feel like the St George Dragon would be the sort of mascot that would drive a Volvo. I don't know why.
That's why they need to have Skull there.
Yeah.
He was the Dragons' answer to Balmain's Laurie Nichols. If Laurie Nichols was still around, he'd be bashing all of these up.
Yeah, I can't remember him, hey.
Laurie Nichols?
No, I remember Laurie Nichols, but I can't remember the Skull dude from the
Skull, yeah. He was angry. He'd love anger around.
You know what? I was just thinking to myself, Penrith needs a fan like that. We don't need a fan like that this week.
Yeah, probably not a good time.
Yeah, it's a bad week for that sort of talk.
Wasn't that dickhead though wearing a Roosters jumper?
Look, that's what I saw people saying. I don't even think that matters what jersey they're wearing. It's just like get the fuck out.
It doesn't matter, but you know, at least you can project the issue onto someone who's from another team.
It is the Roosters' fault, isn't it?
It's very befitting for anger round.
It's like when there would be crowd trouble at games, like when it gets really bad and people are like, "Oh, rugby league," and everyone starts clutching their pearls. And it's like, what if we start docking teams points if they have off-field issues with their crowd? And then you get the people that are like, well, what's to stop someone dressing up in that team's gear and going there to cause trouble? And you're just like, you're thinking that too hard, man. It's
a great idea, though.
What crowd would you go to and cause trouble dressed as them?
Ooh.
Why are you thinking Bulldogs? That's weird.
No, I don't think the Bulldogs aren't a threat.
Bulldogs aren't a threat.
He says before the Bulldogs put 50 on the Tigers.
Yeah, you fucked up.
You fucked up. It's a good question.
It couldn't be Roosters because you'd be too easy to spot. You know, there's not many of them.
I'm going to say this. I actually don't have any hatred for the Roosters. They're not a second team or anything like that, but you know, a lot of people they kind of treat the Roosters the same way they treat Manly. You know, you either hate us or you love us. I've got no emotional feelings either way towards against or for the Roosters.
Yeah, because they shouldn't exist. Is that what you're saying?
Well, nah. They gave me a job when I needed one many years ago. So I go, yeah, you know what? I'll let you off.
That's fair enough.
And you know, I got a few good memories from there, like Ricky Stewart making Brett Finch cry. That was a good one. Most of the days when I went there, when I started a shift on a Friday night, because I always did graveyard shifts there. I went there on a Friday night most nights, and there was a KFC across the road. And if I hadn't eaten anything all day, I'd go over there and grab something to eat before I started my shift, because I'd get no chance after I'd start. And I went in there one day, and Willie Mason was in there with a bunch of the Roosters players. This is when he was still at the Dogs.
Oh, jeez.
And he's just hassling the scrawny little teenage staff that are behind the counter.
Oh, no.
He's just sitting there going, I asked for bigger chicken pieces and this and that. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Man, I'm just fucking with you. Like, calm down. It's all right.
Just winding them up.
Yeah. And then he come back and do it again. And they go fucking panic again. You go, come on, guys. Seriously, I'm just pissing you. That's fine.
That's funny.
And he'd walk away and he'd give him a tip.
Oh, that's funny. That is.
It's always awesome, man. But yeah, there's some good times there. So I don't mind the Roosters. I'm fine with them. Plus, they don't like South. So, common enemy.
You don't like Souths?
Nah. Man, I'm a Balmain fan. That's rule one.
Is that because you's forfeited?
Well, it's just, I think it stems from that, even though I know the facts around that, and that is that South never once made an agreement with Balmain to forfeit that game.
Mm-hmm.
You still go, well, it's still a reason to hate them. That's fine.
Oh,
you take any reason you can latch onto, don't you?
I don't know that I hate any team when I think about it.
I don't hate any team. There's teams that I don't mind watching lose, but I don't hate any teams. Maybe I hate the Tigers, but that's about it.
The Tigers. There's teams I think shouldn't exist, but that's a different thing. It's like there's no emotion in it. It's like, why do they exist? I don't get it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, there's another thing too. Is I put a poll up on Twitter today.
Mm-hmm.
Genuine historical question.
Yeah, I saw this. I actually voted in it.
It was about the 1909 final.
Yes.
And the reason why I asked is because it's very unique, this final, okay? And so I said, the facts of this game are Balmain lost by forfeit. South actually kicked off against no one and scored a try. And after that try was scored, the game was awarded to South, which gave them the premiership. And the question was, should the game be declared a 3-0 victory to South? 3-0 because tries were worth 3 points then.
Yeah.
And people, it's very mixed. And the reason why this is a unique game is because every other forfeit that takes place happens before kickoff.
Yeah, it's like the result. There's no actual gameplay. It's just the result is a forfeit before time.
And so I was thinking mostly as a record-keeping statistical thing. Do we give South a 3-0 victory? Or do we just keep it as 0? Because South have the win. Because there's no scoreline attached, they're not credited with that win in their history. Like it's one less win for some reason. It's one try less of it when they should actually have it.
That doesn't make sense then, does it?
Well, logically, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So that was the question I asked. It's had 203 votes. 50.2% have said yes and 49.8% have said no.
I think you know what? When I think about it, because I voted yes, that they should get 3 points on their points total. But when I think about it, if it's a forfeit before there's any contest, like the contest didn't exist because it was a forfeit, so they should get credited with an extra win, but there's no points. There's no scoring points.
Yeah, they get nothing because no game was actually officially taking place because they declared the game as null.
The only way it could have points is if, and I think they do this in England, where if you forfeit a game, you get a number of points in terms of your for and against.
Yeah.
So I think it's something like 10 points or something you get. I can't remember.
No, 24.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, 24-0.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know where they got 24 from. Internationally, it's 30-0. I don't know why.
It's 30-0 internationally.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's only happened once internationally. It was between Russia and Ukraine.
All right.
And there was some, I'm not going to cast any dispersions here, but there was a bit of dickiness going on around visas and stuff getting from one country to the other.
Okay.
Yeah. But with the COVID, we saw a few 24-0 scorelines issued out in England because of forfeits. That's a random one.
I thought it was 10 for some reason. I don't know why.
No, they try and make it as punishing as possible. I mean, 24, you may as well just make it 300-0.
Yeah.
I mean, why bother? It's nuts. Yeah, the thing that was interesting though about the 1908-1909 seasons is you still got premiership points for winning games in the finals.
How does that work?
So this is how you determine whether the teams are in the finals or not. So in 1908, let me bring that one up. We had South and East were equal first on competition points.
Yeah.
And so, actually, no, it was a better. 1911 was a better one because,
because you got the chance to challenge the premiers, didn't you?
Kind of, yeah. So in 1911, we had Glebe were first on 22 points, and East and South were equal second on 20 points. So in the finals, let's bring those up here. East beat South in the playoff.
Yeah.
Which meant that East then had the same number of points as... No, that one didn't count.
Okay.
Yeah. So that one didn't count. That was to determine who made it to the final. East won that game. They then played Glebe. Because East beat Glebe, that meant that East now had 22 points like Glebe, which meant we had to have a decider. So they played another final the week after called the grand final, and East beat Glebe again. And that's how we got the premiership there.
I guess if you come from a background where you get points where the premiership is supposed to be decided through the season, I guess it kind of makes a weird sense. But
this is the system they used for the first 4 seasons, 08 to 11. And then, so in 1910, South and Newtown were equal. Oh no, South was second on the ladder and Newtown were first. Newtown had 1 point more on the ladder from memory. And they played in the final and they drew. It was 4-all in the final, or 2-all in the final. So they both got 1 point on the ladder, which meant South didn't overtake Newtown, so Newtown were declared the premier. Even though it was a draw, they still had 1 point more on the premiership ladder.
I'm glad we got rid of that.
So after this system, from 1912 to 1922, they then used what was called first past the post.
Yeah. Which
meant the minor premier was declared the premier. And the only time that was challenged was if there were 2 teams on the same points at the end of the year at the top of the ladder.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It sticked around a bit over the years. So you're not a fan of getting premiership points in the finals? The final system could go on for an extra 3 weeks.
It could, yeah. I'm just trying to think of a way you could make it work without making someone's head melt, like the Super 8 system, you know.
Oh, fuck.
And I just can't think of a way you could stop someone's head from melting.
Yeah. That Super Race was nuts. I need to find the video that explained it because that made it worse. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I don't know where it is. I've got to try and find it, though.
By the way, IMG come out with a little bit of a blueprint for how they want the game to look at itself going forward and how they will rate teams based upon, I believe, their results and where they're based and different criteria. And I haven't looked into it completely because there was a lot of noise surrounding it, and I kind of want to get a chance to sit down and really think about how it will all work for different clubs. But everyone seemed pretty upset about it.
So it must be good then.
Yeah, so, it's the way forward. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because that's the first shot across the bow of everyone in the game over there in the UK. And so we're going to see what happens from that. But I'll sit down and I'll really, have a read of everything that come out over the next couple of days because, yeah, there was always going to be changes made and it was going to piss off a lot of people because change always upsets people, and we'll find out what happens going forward.
Now, there's one last thing I want to bring up. Mm-hmm. This is a weird one, okay? Over in England, Hull KR have decided not to announce attendance figures. So the Love Rugby League website over there, which reports on the UK game very thoroughly. Love the work they do. They wrote this this paragraph in one of their articles doing a Super League wrap. Wholesale didn't announce an attendance for their game against Warrington on Friday, which ended in an 18-10 scoreline for the Wolves. When contacted for an official attendance figure, the club said they will be announcing quarterly attendance figures in 2023 rather than after each game.
Why?
That's exactly what I want to know. So I asked the club. They've not replied. The only reason I can think that you would not be announcing figures of anything immediately when you always had done in the past is because you want to hide something or you want to change something. Like, there's a nefarious reason behind it. It's not going to be something that's going to be better. So all I'm thinking is what they're going to do is they're going to say, right, we're going to get, say, 5 rounds worth of games, and we're going to hope that some of the, like they might have the derby against Hull FC turn up where they know they're going to get a big crowd. And they go, right, well, we had 2 games where we had less than 6,000 people turn up, but the game against Hull FC had 15,000. So we might just make that Hull FC one come down to about 12,500 and take $3,500 from that game and spread it across the other 2 that had lower crowds and sort of bring those numbers up. The numbers across the year are going to be accurate.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have set amount number of people came through the gates for the whole year and we got this much money from gate takings. That number's going to be right. But we're going to fuck all the numbers along the way to try and make it, smooth it out a little bit so it looks like we've got good, consistent crowd figures.
What if, and I'm just thinking this on the fly, I don't know this, what if it's for an operational reason? So what if it's something along the lines of they can't have a certain sized crowd based upon safety concerns, or if they have certain sized crowds, they have to pay for a certain number of security. And so if you take those higher crowds that they would have and you spread them across the lower attendance crowds, then you can go to whoever it is, the council or whoever, and say, well, on average, our crowds are actually this. And so that's why we're underneath this certain threshold. Does that make sense?
I see what you're getting at.
Yeah. It's just a guess because it makes no sense.
It's either way though. I can't think of anything they're doing other than something deceptive.
Yeah.
You're going from being completely transparent to being secretive about something, which is completely pointless to how the game's run.
And for no reason at all.
Yeah. And they've given no reason as to why.
Could it be a tax thing?
I don't know.
I can't imagine it's a tax thing.
It's been reported for a long time, though, that most of the clubs in England were fudging figures on crowd figures.
Well, I think it happens still here. I mean, every so often.
It does.
How many times have we said, I think there was a couple of West Tigers games not long ago where we were like, there wasn't that many people there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the couple of games at Parramatta already, well, they've said that there was I think there was a game where they said they had 18,000 there. And in a 30,000 seat stadium, it didn't look more than half full, that's for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. It's weird. I don't know why you come out and do that. Like, why not just release any old figure you want? No one's going to know. That's the beauty of it. You're the official source. There's no other source out there that can confirm or verify the data you're giving out. So you can just give out whatever number you want. No one's going to know. And you could have done that and still look transparent and still hidden everything you wanted to do.
Yeah.
No one would know.
What if they come out
and say this? You're going, well, we're hiding something.
But what if they come out quarter of the way through the season and they're like, oh, yeah, we've had average crowds of 55,000 people. Just letting you know.
Which is probably what's going to happen.
It'd be great.
They come out there and say, oh, yeah, these crowds all had 6,000. These games all had 6,000 people have turned up. Seriously?
It's a strange one, isn't it?
It's really weird. So I'm hoping that whoever's running rugby league over there IMG, I think it is, that they take the authority for reporting crowd figures off the clubs, and they have an official that gets that data directly from the ground and not from the club.
Well, you think that if they're going to go through an auditing process where they're going to rank clubs on their merit to be in the top grade, they have to do that. I mean, exactly, you just can't take their clubs. Because we saw it when the NRL had the criteria that they put out when they were going from, 22 clubs, and they wanted to get to 14. They ended up at 16. And we saw clubs just bullshitting their crowd figures completely.
Yeah. So, and it's not like this is going to cost them a lot of money. It costs 50p. Pick up the phone and make a quick call. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. Bam, done, out.
It makes me wonder who's in charge.
Yeah. Like, shit like that should never be allowed to happen at any level, anywhere.
I feel like if Maurice Lindsay was in charge, that would have not happened. He would have rang up and said no.
Exactly. I think that's pretty much it. Over in England, Warrington and Catalans are both undefeated after 4 games. I saw Lee beat St Helens, so they must be the new world champions now. Thoughts?
I don't think I have to say anything.
St Helens are currently sitting 10th on the ladder.
1
win, 2 losses.
Yes.
World's best team. 1 win away from relegation.
Imagine if that happened.
Oh, that would be catastrophic. You consider too, Leeds are sitting 8th.
You fucking know that if the last 3 clubs, Wigan, St Helens, and Leeds, some fucking official would throw themselves on that hand grenade. They would find a reason. They'd be like, we got a call from fucking Prince Charles, and he said we're not allowed to do promotion and relegation this year.
No, they just go through and go start the next season and go. But we're talking about promotion. That's a soccer thing, isn't it? We don't do that, do we?
They just keep playing. They just keep playing games. It's like round 72. Round 72.
Hey, let's have the Super 8.
Yeah,
let's bring that back.
We've decided there's no end to the season.
It's just going to keep going. Because St Helens have beaten the best team in the NRL, that means they automatically get 300 points on the ladder. So, they're in the clear. And Leeds once won the World Challenge Cup. So, they get, say, 100 points. So they're in the clear. And, Wigan will just give us money to get themselves in the clear and we'll take it.
Hey, did you see that Sam Tompkins has said he's going to retire at the end of the year?
No.
Yeah, I saw that during the week.
He'd be getting on, though.
What would he be about? I reckon 31.
Usually pretty good at this guessing end, to be honest.
Really good at Hay.
I'd have thought he was a bit older than that.
Okay, I'm calling 31.
He's 34 at the end of this month.
Oh, there you go. That surprises me.
Yeah. He's been around a bit.
Still, I'm surprised by that.
He's going to play his 300th game this year in the Super League alone.
That's good effort because there was a while there he was starting to look a bit injury prone.
Yeah.
So 300 games is pretty good.
And 37 for the Warriors.
He's going to. He said he'd make himself available for England against France. He said that was important. So.
Yes.
He's going to be a loss for them. I've always thought that he was a pretty handy player.
Oh, very, very gifted. There's no doubt about it. Didn't get enough of the right and good coaching around him when he was younger to turn him into, he could have been turned into an absolute bloody superstar. He made the right decision to come to the NRL when he did. His form and everything was right for it, but went to the wrong team.
Yeah, wrong team. And I think the other thing that hurt him too was, if he had come over as a teenager, I think by the time he had have made a first grade debut in the NRL, he would have been more physically conditioned to the NRL. When he came over to the Warriors, and as you say, wrong team to go to, but he looked like a under-20s player. He was very, very slight.
Yeah.
And he look, as the athlete that he was, if he had have got the better training, he would have been fine. But I think that hurt him a little bit.
Yeah, he's very good watching him play in England. There was no doubt that he could have handled the NRL, but yeah, he went to the wrong club.
Yeah.
He needed to go to a club that played a more English style of footy too, that was a bit more free-flowing, because that's what he worked best off. There was that second phase play, and the Warriors at that time were playing this, barge through the middle top footy, more of a grinding style thing, and it just wasn't compatible with him.
No.
As you said, like his body wasn't built for that style of footy.
I can't remember who it was that said it, but I remember that there was some commentator said, like, don't make the decision to go over to the NRL and then go and play for the Warriors. And this isn't against the Warriors. It's just like, if you're going to go over to Australia to play Australian Rugby League, play in bloody Australia. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's right.
I thought that was a fair enough comment. And that's nothing against the Warriors. People know what I think of the Warriors. Very important club to us, but it was the wrong team for him at the time anyway.
That's right. We should probably wrap this thing up, eh?
Yeah, how long have we been going for?
About 2.5 hours.
Oh, jeez, I hope it fits. That's what she said.
This is what most of our conversations are like when we don't press record. So, yeah. Welcome to our world. There's been tangents off tangents. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Make sure you check us out on the socials, on Instagram, Twitter, at FergoFreakPod. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube as well. That's about it, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening.
And we'll catch you all next time.